Welcome, fellow Battanians, to a new Let's Play tutorial series playing Mount and Blade 2 Bannerlord called Lords of the Forest. If you would like to skip the game's overview or the setup of the character, please use YouTube chapters. Welcome to a brand new series playing Mount and Blade 2 Bannerlord. I will be playing as Battanian with no mods on Freebooter difficulty, and for those that don't know what Bannerlord's all about, it is a strategy action RPG where you engage in diplomacy, craft, trade, and conquer new lands in a vast medieval sandbox. I have played this on YouTube before, so there is content, but I am playing the latest updates and all. So I'll be Battanian, which is sort of like Celtic-esque underdog that lives in the forest regions of Calradia, which is the continent that this takes place in. And I'm going to be trying to forge my own way towards success and triumph, ideally making my own kingdom. So I'll be only using Battanian troops, but my companions can be of any background. And I'm going to be looking for honest, loyal, generous, and merciful companions, and also acting in accordance as well myself. So let's get going. Let's kick this off.
For 500 years, the Calradian Empire dominated the continent. Its armies scattered foes before them. The strongholds of proud tribes crumbled beneath its engines of war. From the forests of the north to the wastes of the south, all was brought beneath the standard of their legions. Brutal as the conquest was, the wise agreed that it brought peace. The land, now untroubled by armies, grew rich, but empires, like men, grow old. Leaders lose a common cause. Corruption spreads. Old enemies learn the Empire's tricks and devise new ones of their own. Until one day, the bonds holding the Empire snap. Then comes the Civil War, pitting all against all. A time of hatred. A time of suffering. But also, even in the worst hours, a time of courage and defiance. As new leaders arise, from new places and new peoples, to turn back the tides of destruction and bring forth a new world from the ashes of the old.
All right. Now for the character creation. There are 6 major cultures. They're all sort of fashioned after real-life Europe, more or Europe and North Africa, I suppose. The Valandians would be like Gauls or something. Sturgians would be sort of the Nords. Empire would be, the Holy Roman Empire-esque. Azurai would be Persia, maybe. Khuzait would be the Asian steppes, and then the Battanians are sort of a Celtic British, Iceni-esque, and we're going to be the Battanians. So they have less of a penalty, speed penalty in forests, and sight range bonus in forests. So they move around in forests very, very well, which is a good way to avoid getting ganked by larger groups. Towns owned by Battanian rulers, so if I'm Battanian, I own Battanian towns, will also get additional militia, but they're slower to invest in their town projects. I am gonna try to make this look kind of like me, but, you know, keeping with the Celt theme. Something like that. I don't want to spend too much time in here, because if all goes well, I'll be behind a helmet really quickly. So, that's what I look like. Maybe a little bit more buff. Yeah, what about a voice?
Shoulder to shoulder!
That works for me. I'm not too picky. Alright, choose my family. So this is where I'm going to make some choices that may surprise you all. Not necessarily meta choices, but they're for the best in the long run. So, in the character creation, you're given a bunch of options, and these options will increase your stats, vigor, which controls one-handed, two-handed, and polearm, control, which is for throwing and archery, endurance for riding, running, and smithing, cunning for scouting, tactics, and roguery, social for charm and leadership and trade, and intelligence for stewardship, medicine, and engineering. So, depending on how you design your character at the start, it really heavily dictates how you move forward. So, I was born into a family of foresters, which raises cunning, scout, and tactics, as you can see down here. As a child, I was noted for my aptitude with numbers, raising intelligence, and engineering and trade. Like all village children, you also helped out in the fields. You also sold product at market, raising social, charm, and trade. As a youngster growing up in Calradia, war was never too far away. You rode with the scouts, raising endurance, archery, or bow, because there's also crossbow, and riding. Before you set out for a life of adventure, your biggest achievement was you invested some money in land. It's a little smithing and more trade with an increase of intelligence. Like many families in Calradia, your life was upended by war. Your home was ravaged by the passage of army after army. Eventually, you sold your property and set off with your father, mother, brother, and your two younger siblings to a new town you'd heard was safer. But you did not make it. Along the way, the inn at which you were staying was attacked by raiders. Your parents were slain, and your two youngest siblings seized. But you and your brother survived because you subdued a raider. Increase of vigor, one-handed, and athletics. You prepare to set off with your brother on a mission of vengeance and rescue. Here is your character. I am naming myself Halligan. So here is the full makeup of my character here. So we've got someone who's intelligent, kind of well-rounded. A lot of trade, but generally I would say well-rounded. A little bit of skills here or there. Alright, let's start. Is there restrictions to who I will marry?
Brother, it's been 3 days now we've been tracking those bastards. I think we're getting close. We need to think about what happens when we catch them. How are we going to rescue our brother and sister? Are we up for a fight? This looks like an old training field for the legions. Perhaps we can spare some time and brush up on our skills. The practice could come in handy when we catch up with the raiders.
Alright.
Let's go on then.
So I'm going to cover some of the weaponry, but not all of it, because it takes a while. Is there restrictions by who I'll marry? I am not really planning on getting married in this game. So, yes. I'm going to be an ace, I suppose. So, there are a bunch of different types of weapons. And then also the way weapons work will change significantly whether you're mounted or not. But more for your benefit than my own, I will show you what a little bit of combat looks like. So, there's defense directions, where you can look up, down, left, and right, and attack from those directions as well. So it wants me to attack from the right. Attack from the left. Attack from the left. Attack from the right, attack from up, and attack from down. Alright. That about covers the melee combat. The different weapons are basically the same, more or less. Spears are a little bit more different than two-hander swords. I will do one of the mounted training and then one of the ranged training. So let's do mounted archery, as that is likely something I'm going to do, opposed to swords and shields. So finish the track by hitting as many targets as you can. And the way it works is when you pull back the bowstring, your aim will hone in and center. As your skill goes up, your accuracy, and also in this case, horse skill as well, you'll become more accurate with the bow. But if you hold the bowstring too long, you'll start to lose focus. Essentially, the draw strength is too much for you to hold for too long. And shooting on horseback draws, of course, from bow skills and also from horse riding skills. So if you're lacking in either, you're not going to be all that effective. And my character's not riding all that fast, but, you know, whoop. I'll just come to a complete stop there. Totally what the tutorial wanted me to do, I'm sure. Horses will also jump with spacebar, and you can jump when you're on foot as well with spacebar. Just be careful. Sometimes you get, like, stuck when you're trying to jump, especially during raids when you're attacking or defending castles and towns. So, spamming jump is not always advised. I've definitely gotten stuck before. So that's what it looks like. Alright, let's then do the range training, which should be over here somewhere. And because I just showed bows, I will show you crossbows. So it wants me to shoot targets. So with crossbows, they are easier to hold the shot, and the projectile speed is a lot faster, generally speaking, than bows, but they do reload slower, and they're pretty unusable on horseback. And also, you know, my aim is poor. But if you're really low bow skill, it's very hard to be accurate, whereas if you're very low crossbow skill, it's a lot easier to hit shots on target. So they're the bows are sort of hard to... Oh, wow, I can't hit anything, actually. They're kind of hard to use, but they're very rewarding when you're skilled. And then with the crossbows, they're kind of easier to use, but there's a sort of skill ceiling. So there we go. I've done enough. I'll do one advanced... No, I don't even... I guess I'll do one advanced melee training. Which I think is through this area. Alright, so we just have to defeat the traitors. In simulated combat. It's also worth noting that gear and armor are incredibly important in the game. The more armored you are, the more you can tank, and the better weapons you have, the more damage you'll dish out. So, really early game, everything kind of kicks your butt, unless you're very, very skilled. But later in the game, when you're like, best gear possible, it's a lot easier to defeat your enemies when you're wearing, like, tier 5 and 6 stuff. And gear is sorted into tiers. So, the starting gear is going to be, like, tier 1, and then, you know, the amount of expense for higher level gear really goes up high. So this is sort of the fighting loop. It is a lot harder to defend against 2 meleeers at once than just one, where you can hit E to bash with your shield, or kick if you're far enough. So as you can see, I'll try to go for... he's not letting up. It's not really letting me kick. And then you have to try to make hits on weak points. And it's also worth noting that momentum matters. So if you technically, like, you swing through like that, you'll do more damage because it calculates momentum. Which also means that if you're on horseback, you can do a lot more damage than when you're on foot. Alright, let's get out of the training area. I feel trained now. Before we do anything else, we're low on food. There's a village north of here where we can buy provisions and find some help. You're a better rider than I am, so I'll let you lead the way. So it wants me to go to Tevea. I am in the training tutorial mode, so I really am not able to do anything but this training tutorial, but that's fine. I think it's good, a good sort of way for first-time viewers to understand the game. So here's the skill tree. And in the skill tree, each skill is driven by two separate things. So you have, let's take one-handed, for instance. Right now my one-handed is 10, and then it will go quickly up until this bar, which is 50. And this is driven by a combination of my vigor, which is 3, and then also the focus points invested in one-handed. So if I want to level one-handed faster, I could spend one of my free focus points to increase my learning rate of this ability, and then also increase the sort of level up speed maximum. Now you can go above your focus max, but the skills gained beyond this green marker are much, much slower. So it's fast to get to the green and very slow to go beyond. And up here is how many free attribute points you get. You get 1 free attribute point every 4 levels you gain. Up here is my XP bar. And then here is the free focus points, which you get every level. And you can only invest up to 5 focus points. So like right now, as you can see in my trade, I have I had 3 focus points, and now I'm going to have 4. So with more focus points, I'll be able to level up trade faster. And I can hit done. And the other thing is, once you hit these checkpoints here, you can pick between 2 potential skills. And I'm going to pick wholesaler. So I have less of a price penalty when selling trade goods, and my profits are marked. If you're ever wondering how to level up a specific skill, just hit this I over here, or hit this plus over here, make profit from trading, operating caravans, and it will tell you how to level up any skill. So some are very obvious, like one-handed, two-handed polearm, bow, crossbow, and throwing. You just use those things. Riding is riding around on the map with as much speed as possible, meaning you're not encumbered, etc. And fighting on a horseback, gaining speed bonus. Athletics is fighting on foot, moving on foot in the map. Smithing is making weapons. Scouting is spotting tracks and hideouts, and traveling through difficult terrain. Tactics is command simulated battles and win at difficult odds. And escape from encounters by sacrificing troops if necessary. Roguery is raiding caravans, recruiting and leading bandit troops, infiltrating enemy towns, giving bribes, escaping from captivity. Charm is improving your relations with other people, and then also doing quests will fill that up pretty quick. Leadership is leveling up your troops and assembling and leading armies and maintaining high morale. Stewardship is having your party have a high variety of food as a good quartermaster and improving settlement prosperity and build projects as a governor. Stewardship is very, very important. I would like to add, stewardship essentially controls how many troops that you can have, more or less. So if you're a really bad steward, you're not going to have big armies. Medicine is helping wounded soldiers heal. And then engineering is building and operating siege equipment. There's also multiple characters. So here, as you can see, my brother, Niacin, who will be renamed at some point, has a lot more skill than I do. And then as far as color coded goes, the red means that he is maxed out on his natural XP climb, so that these 4 skills are going to be a lot slower for him to gain. And if there's an icon over here that is like a red-orange circle, that means that someone else has like skills to be picked. So that's a little bit about the skills. So let's get over to Tevea. And we are supposed to talk to Headman Orthos. So, in the tutorial, we can't just like immediately go to him. We have to walk around the village. But normally you would be able to talk to them directly.
We're here, I guess. So, we need food, and after that, maybe some men to come with us. The headman here can probably help us. Let's try to find him.
So when you're in a town like this, you can hold left alt, and it will show you the points of interest. So holding left alt, I can see a little yellow exclamation mark over Headman Orthos, and then I can also see a green crown, meaning a companion, over Niacin there.
I'm Orthos, head man of this village. What brings you here?
We need help. Some raiders have taken our younger brother and sister captive. We think they may have passed this way.
They got your people too? Sorry to hear that. Those bastards have done a bit of killing and looting in these parts as well. We think they've gone north. I reckon there are a few folk around here who'll join you in going after them if you'll pay for their gear. Once you've made your preparations, come and talk to me again. I may have a task for you if you're going after the raiders.
Okay, my current task is to recruit troops, at least 4, and to purchase grain, at least 2. So I hold tab to leave the town, and now I can recruit 1, 2, 3, 4. And because I'm in a tutorial, right now I'm recruiting non-Battanian troops, but there's no way to get through the tutorial without recruiting these guys. So it's the one time you're going to see me recruit non-Battanians. And then buying products. Here's grain. So we're buying 2 at 30 apiece. Leaving this poor little village with 1 grain for everybody that lives there. But, you know, that's what I was supposed to do. So now I can talk to Headman Orthos, and instead of taking a walk around, the game wants me to talk to him directly like this.
Glad to see you found what you needed. Now, about that matter I mentioned earlier. There's this wandering doctor who comes through here from time to time. Name of Tactius. Treats people for free. We're fond of it. Well, we last saw him a few days ago. He was carrying some sort of chest, which he was very mysterious about. He was on some sort of quest, he said, though wouldn't tell us more. He set off on the road just a few hours before the raiders came through here. Well, he's not really a worldly type, just the kind of fellow who'd stumble into a trap and let himself be captured. We're worried about him. If you can keep an eye out for him, this Tactius, we'd be very grateful. Maybe if he's alive and well, he'll tell you a little more about his quest.
Okay, so we're looking for younger siblings and also Tactius. So now my current goal is to locate and rescue the traveler by defeating parties of looters, or raiders in this case, so that they could provide information about where the raid camp is. If you hold left alt, it will also show you the speed of the enemies, so 4.8 versus my 7.4. The fact that they have 2 prisoners, so there's 6 of them with 2 prisoners. If it said that was a W, that would mean wounded. And what they're currently doing, which is patrolling around Tavea. I've encountered a raider party, and I'm absolutely going to attack.
I'm taking command! Yeah!
So now, in a battle, I can hit F1 to select all the troops, and then I can issue commands. So I can tell them to hold position, move, follow me, charge, etc. So I'm going to tell them to charge.
At them!
And there are 6 little raiders for us to defeat, and they're just going to be throwing pebbles at us. Now I have like basically a hatchet here, so it's not all that effective of a weapon. And I'm also unarmored. So I don't really want to sit in the middle of their group. I don't hit my horse. You can hit me, but not the horse. And there are two skills in particular that I want to focus on leveling up right at the start here. And one-handed is one of them. So any opportunity to level one-handed, I ought to take. Archery is also a really powerful one, being able to hit enemies, especially enemies that don't really have ranged weapons. Because, you know, you won't... You'll have a lot more endurance and last a lot longer in combat if you can take your enemies down with a bow and arrow. So there we go. Pretty straightforward. Gained a little bit of morale as a result of that victory. We freed 2 of the headman's troop, and then took 2 of the raiders prisoner. I took more damage than my brother, who took 2%, but we're both alive and well. And then here's the loot. So there's arm guards that I can take. There's boots that I can take. And this old fur armor is actually a little bit better than what I have. So if you mouse over this, you can see that the armor that I had has 1 less body armor, 1 less leg armor, but 2 more arm armor. And given that I'm on horseback, it's more likely that I get hit in the body and legs rather than the arms. So I'm going to take armor that covers my bodies and legs. And then these numbers are the total amount of armor. So without armor on, oh yeah. As you can see, I have 5 body armor, and that's a result of this cape. So these numbers going up is a good thing, in other words. So there's raid group number 1. And let's get over to the other groups of raiders. This one's just standing around. Not much patrolling you were doing. Let's see about using our bow. Oh, perfect.
Forward!
There's a bridge here. And these enemies are definitely going to have to cross this bridge to come fight us, so let's hold the bridge. They might go through the shallow water. It's not like this water is all that deep. And as you can see, because I'm really low level at bow and riding, my horse accuracy is really horrible. If I was a Kuzadi, I would be shunned. But hitting shots while mounted will also increase my riding skill and my bow skill. And if I hit difficult to hit shots, distant shots, or shots on the head or neck, they are more effective to level me up than like shots to their ankles. So you gain experience also related to the difficulty of the archery shot that you made. Don't throw rocks at the head. Oh, you hit me in the head twice. Okay, thrice. But I won in the end. Luckily, I have a thick dome. Now, let's clean up the rest of these guys. Horses also have a charge damage. It's not an effective way to kill enemies. It will only do like 1 or 2 points. Unless you get like a horse that's designed to charge, but even then, it's not going to kill much of anything. It'll just knock them over. And I think because of the deep water and bridge, my own troops are just like not super effective in this fight. Ooh, got you. Right in the head. There is friendly fire damage, although with my difficulty it's turned way down, so I'm not likely to kill my own friends. So we freed 2 more of the headman troop and took more prisoners. And these bracers are even more armor than my last pair. There's also, of course, the consideration of offering gear to my brother here, but his gear is fine. It's equivalent to the stuff I've been looting. Now that we have fought in a battle, there's also this disorganized for 6 hours. So what this is like, after a combat, your troops need time to like muster and regather. So it sort of prevents you from rapidly attacking constantly, and the penalty is disorganized here, which is minus 1.96 speed. So we're going to move a lot slower because we're disorganized, having done a recent fight. And that penalty goes away, you know, after the timer. And we know that there's one more group of raiders around here, but I don't have the scouting ability high enough to be able to actually track them. So we just have to happen upon them. We're in the tutorial. They'll be around. We'll find them. There you go.
I'm in command. Hey! Get them!
I'm going to tell them all to charge. And now that we're in an open field, this is obviously ideal for cavalry. Now, there's not technically, like, terrain advantage necessarily. But as you can see, an open meadow is so much more effective of an attack ground than, like, a river that slows down horses a lot. So even on the first charge, the headman troop that I'm commanding killed, like, half of the raiders on first go. And we have already won. It's so much faster. At the end of the battle, I didn't show this, but it will show you how you fared. So, like, I knocked 2 people down. I gained some experience. So I gained 2 riding skill, 3 one-handed skill, and 1 tactical skill. We killed 2 of them. We wounded 4. Those that we wounded becomes prisoners. The more prisoners that you have, the slower your party will move. So having your army have to look after so many prisoners does not help with movement speed. And there's also a finite amount of prisoners that you can even use. And that number is controlled by the size of your army and the skills that you and other members in your army have. So here we go. Ooh. Even better armor. And even better boots. Nothing like using, hypothetically, a dead person's gear. Alright, and then some of my hand-me-downs can go over to niacin. Le brother. The brother that will be named at some point soon. You rescued several prisoners that the raiders have been dragging along. They look parched and exhausted. You give them a bit of water and bread, and after a short while, one staggers to his feet and comes over to you.
I don't know who you are, but I'm in your debt. These brigands would have marched us to our deaths. My name's Tactios. I'm a doctor by trade. I was on, well, a bit of a quest, but I'm now thinking I'm not really made for this kind of thing. I was with a caravan, and they just came out of the brush. We were surrounded and outnumbered, so we gave up. I figured they'd keep us alive, if just for the ransom. But then they started flogging us along at top speed, without any water, and I was just about ready to drop. I could feel the signs of heat stroke creeping up, and I told them, but they just flogged me more. If your group hadn't come along, maybe I have a way to thank you properly.
We're looking for 2 children captured by the raiders. Can you tell us anything?
I'm afraid I haven't seen any children, but after our caravan was attacked, the chief of the raiders, the one they call Rhadamant, took and rode off with our more valuable belongings, including a chest that I had. He seemed to be controlling more than one band around this area. If this lot has your kin, then I think he'd be the one to know. And since I have nothing of value left to repay your help, I'll tell you this. If you do catch up with and defeat that ruffian, you may be able to recover my chest. It contains a valuable ornament, which I was told could be of great value if you knew where to sell it. I was trying to find out more about it, but, as I say, I've had all my urge for travelling flogged out of me. Right now, I don't think I'd venture more than 20 paces from a well as long as I live.
We'll keep that in mind.
It doesn't look like much, and I suspect this lot will give it away for a few coins. But I got it from a mercenary whom I treated once, and he swore it was related to Neretz's folly. I don't know what that means, except that Neretes was of course the emperor who died in battle some years back. Maybe you could find out its true value. Thanks for saving me again. I hope our paths will cross again.
All right. So now find the hideout of Radagos' gang and defeat them. So we're going to a hideout. I am currently at 50% HP, so it's probably going to be best that I heal up a little bit. I'm going to talk to Headman Orthos. Oh, nope, I'm not. Alright, I am just going to wait around a minute while we heal up. You know what? I'll be fine. Who needs health anyway, right guys? Just go in with a like half dead. We arrived at the hideout, let's attack. So, generally in hideouts, you're allowed to bring in 10 of your own troop, and you have to defeat the enemies within the hideout to enable the last fight between you and the gang's leader.
To hell with you!
No, to hell with you. Ow. Don't do that. You're embarrassing me here. I could tell these guys to follow me. That would be the healthier thing to do. But, you know, I'm reckless. Ideally, I would like to engage these guys before they spot me so I can get a first shot on. But my accuracy of this bow is real bad. Some of that is just like the bow is a low level and I have low bow skill. So it doesn't exactly go where I want all the time. Where are you going? Oh, I see. Well, they'll chew you up. So we're just proceeding through the enemy camp. Oh, there's another one. Right in the noggin. Well, way above. And because this is also a really good opportunity for me to build up bow skill and athletics skill, I'm trying to do most of the work myself without getting too injured. Every fight is a opportunity to build up your skills. And this game is pretty unforgiving at times during combat, so every little edge that you can find, use it. So the balance of power meter at the top is sort of a way to gauge how many enemies are left. So given the balance of power is almost entirely in my favor, and I haven't set up my banner. So right now it's this like yellow and brown stag. Means that this guy right here is probably the last guy of the pre-boss fight. Ooh, I hit him in the arm. I thought I missed. Hey JB, thank you for the resub. And Hipponaz, Scorpio, and Requiem too. Nothing like dodging the wrong direction. Oh no, there's one left somewhere. Oh, there he is. If only I had a better bow. Run out of arrows too. I like how I've been just shooting arrows at this guy and he's just like, huh? What was that? Huh? What was that? And then get him in the leg. But look at him. It's Neo from the Matrix. He's dodging everything. Alright, that should be all the pre-group. So now, here is Radagos. And we're going to have some words.
So, who's this that comes through my place of business, killing my employees?
We heard you took our little brother and sister. Where are they?
Good heaven. I need a better description than that. My men have harvested dozens of little brats in this region. Quite good hunting grounds. Already sent most of them off to a slave market, I know, though. Since your hunt for your kin is fruitless, how about you clear off and save your own lives? Either that, or I'll force you to lick up all the blood you've spilled here with your tongues. Or you and I could settle this one-on-one.
All right, I'll duel you. It's a bad idea, given my injuries, but I like bad ideas. And I won with like 1 hit point left. That's right. That's right, old man. Spanking you. Giving you a spanking.
No quarter for the craven!
I earned 100% of the loot and we gained 1.4 morale. We captured 5 of them. So we're almost at a prisoner max. Wow, literally I have 1% health. I know the overlay's in the way. But there you go. 1% health left. I'm only 99% dead. I'm still 1% alive. And apparently... Oh, also, might I add that Radagos did kill my father. So, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my parents. Prepare to die. Alright, we also took some stuff off of them. So I have a little mace here. The boots, armor, nothing really of import.
Well, I recognize defeat when I see it. If I'm gonna be your captive, let me introduce myself. I'm Radagos. You haven't cut my throat yet, which was a wise move. I'm sure I can find a way to be worth more to you alive than dead.
You better help us get our brother and sister back, or you'll swing from a tree.
Ah, you'll need my help, all right. If you want to get them back. Alive, that is. See, my boys have some pretty specific instructions about what to do if there's a rescue attempt. Shall we get on the road? Remember, if I drop dead of exhaustion or drown in some river, that's it for your little dears. I don't expect a cozy palanquin now, but you best not make it too hard a trip for me.
You come across a chest with an old piece of bronze in it. It's so battered and corroded that it could have been anything from a cup to a crown. This must be the chest Tacteos mentioned to you. That had something to do with Neretzi's folly.
I was hoping to find more treasure here, but I think business wasn't going too well for Radagos and his gang. I found this strange-looking metal piece, though. Doesn't look too valuable, but it could be the artifact Tacteos was talking about. Maybe we can sell it to one of the noble clans for a hefty price.
Alright then, let's get on the road.
I have a better idea. We would have a better chance if we split up now. I'll take Radagos and go find the slaver market and look for a way to free the children. However, we must be careful not to endanger their lives, and it could be better to just buy them. We need to have our purses full for that, though. I'll need to take these men with us. Radagos is a slippery one. I don't want him getting away.
So you want me to raise the money to ransom the little ones?
Indeed. You'll have to find a way to do that. Maybe this bronze thing can help. Tacteos said it could be worth a fortune to the right person, if you manage not to get killed. If he's telling the truth, you must be careful. Never reveal that you have it, but try to understand its value and how it can be sold. One more thing. When you are talking to nobles and other people of importance, make sure you present yourself as someone from a distant but distinguished family. You can use our family name if you like, or make up a new one. You will have a better chance of obtaining an audience with nobles, and it'll be easier for me to find you by asking around.
Wow, that is a really strange coincidence that my randomized last name starts with R-H-A. I'll keep it. Rhadamant. Which is also really interesting because Rhadamant is from the Greek demigod Rhadamanthus, and Ramemnon sounds like Agamemnon a little bit, or any of the Memnons, because there was a lot of Memnons. So that's a very Greek Celt name, I guess. So, yep, that's my family name now.
Get on the road now. Once I locate the little ones, I'll come find you.
Okay, so let's go with the flag. Obviously, it's going to be green. And then, obviously, it's going to have a dog. And I want to have a little white dog. So, this is our flag. Maybe not a tiny white dog, because he's a big spirit. So there's the family sigil. The tutorial is over and you're now free to explore Calradia. On the second day of summer, 1084, you found the artifact which Tacteos mentioned. So this is the Dragon Banner first piece. I'm not really sure how that would have been a cup or a crown, but sure, let's go with it. I'm also magically healed up to 100%, but everybody, all the prisoners and everything are gone from my inventory, and in fact, I've been stripped of all the gear that I put on myself, so I'm not really sure why I was attempting to put gear on. I forgot that the tutorial's like, yoink! Not gonna have that. Thank you for tuning in to Mount and Blade 2 Bannerlord Lords of the Forest, which originally streamed live on Twitch February 27th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you at next episode or upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Battanians.